Okay, number 3, old business. Just so that you know, the camera was stopped because we were just chit-chatting. One part of this was done, the selectmen meeting, advisory board agenda was completed, so we kind of stopped for a minute and chit-chatted. Members of the public were here, there was nothing said that shouldn't be said. People went to the other room, and now we're back with with item number 3, and that is old business.
Now that we have reviewed the request for proposals and selected a vendor to perform the town-wide revaluation, I now have the contract available for signature. I had emailed it several times to each of you, I kept finding boo-boos, but do any of you have any questions for this contract? Not, I'll need a motion to approve it, and then I'll pass it down for Jim to sign it.
What?
I make a motion.
Just me?
Yes.
Wait a minute.
Three lawyers, one
I'm
signature.
not here at the moment, the co-chair can do that. Okay, sorry.
I make a motion that we accept the contract for the RJD appraisal. Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? So moved, 4-0.
Here it comes, Jim.
Okay, the next item, whoops, it goes from A to C, I took something out and moved it. Should be B, that should be item number B, 3B. Review and approve the minutes of the December 23rd and the January 7th, 2026 meeting. There were 3 sets of minutes. One was the advisory board, the next was the selectmen on the 23rd, and then the joint meeting on January 2nd.
I make a motion that we accept the,
Can you do them separate? Please, because I can't vote on this one.
okay,
Sorry.
I make a motion that we accept the December 23rd Selectmen meeting advisory board minutes and the Selectmen minutes.
Second.
We have a motion, second, further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? So moved. Did you vote on that? You did.
I can on the 23rd, but I can't on the side.
Okay, so we had it,
That's why we
4-0. And then I make a motion that we accept the minutes for January 6th for the Selectmen's meeting advisory board.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion, we have a second, further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? One abstained? So we have 3-0. Number 4, new business, appointments to various positions.
Yep, Kim says in January, we normally will make appointments to the following. To Nancy Gove as treasurer, to Nancy Gove as tax collector, to Kimberly Moody as town clerk, to Kimberly Moody as registrar of voters, to Kimberly Moody as the GA administrator, to Floyd Artie Lane as the road commissioner, to Stacy Bean as the fire chief, and to Jeffrey Drew as the code enforcement officer, local plumbing inspector, health officer, and addressing officer. So these are the appointments to be taken up tonight.
Make a motion to accept the
All of them?
positions. Yes.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. For code enforcement, wasn't he already?
He was, but he's typically done in January, and Kim wants to get back on a
Good.
calendar year cycle.
Good. All right,
Doesn't hurt to reaffirm.
no, just checking.
Mhm.
All in favor? All opposed? So moved, 4-0.
And we'll start passing them around to sign. Then-
Approve assessing contract.
Yeah, Rob Duplessis did not have a chance to get that to me. He worked on the reval, but, I don't have the assessing. It doesn't actually take effect until July 1, so, there's really no hurry. Usually we do it this time of year, but, I'm hoping for the next meeting I'll have that assessing contract to you.
C, execute municipal quick claim deed, Station Slate, 20 Madison Street property.
This was for some old sewer liens from 2022, 23, 24, and 2025. They have all been paid in full, and I recommend that we execute a municipal quitclaim deed without covenants to release it back to Stacy Slate.
Just for further record, future records, my name is James Smith, officially.
Officially, yes, okay. Did I,
You put
is it
Jim.
Jim on
Yeah.
there? Yeah, all right.
Not a big deal, is who I am, but
Yeah,
officially.
but yes, legally, it should probably should be James.
Motion to accept, to do the quick claim deed.
I make a motion to accept the quick claim deed for Stacy Slate.
Second.
We have a motion and second for the discussion. All in favor?
My hands up.
Good. All opposed? So moved, 4-0. Discuss changes to employee handbook.
So there's the quitclaim deed. It's all circulated. I know we just did this back on December 23rd, but it came to my attention that the highway department has been practicing in past practice for several years now, call-in. So as part of the pay schedule, I thought it important to address it so that our practice is actually being recorded in writing. So I created a new section C call-in. Whenever an employee is called back to work, said employee will receive a minimum of 2 hours of call-in pay for up to 2 hours of work performed. Beyond this minimum, timed work equals time paid. The employees may be called back into work more than once in a 24-hour day. And I did review that with the road commissioner. He was fine with that language and thought that that accurately represents what the current and past practice is in the highway department. So if you are all set with that, I'll have you vote in that change. And then I do have the 2 handbooks I forgot to have you sign. There is a signature page on each, so I'll have you sign them, and then we'll keep those in our archives and distribute them to the employees.
I make a motion to accept an employee handbook, the change for C call-in.
Second.
We have a motion and second, further discussion. Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? So moved, 4-0. Just approve job description for EMA director.
I had presented that to the board. We had approved the customer service specialist, but we And we did the animal control officer, but I think Brenda was absent that meeting, so you folks decided to wait on the EMA director. Brenda had looked that over, she gave me a few edits to that job description, so I think it fairly accurately represents the job description for emergency management.
Just don't have it.
Do you want me to make copies for you, or do you want to look it over? I should have copied it again, but I didn't.
I remember.
Yeah, please.
Anybody else?
Is it sent to me? Is it
I
sent
think
to me?
so.
And I read it.
Okay.
I read all of them. And attached.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I got it. I just reread yours. Do I sign this?
So we have a motion,
Those are the personnel policy,
we have a motion to approve job description for EMA director. Do you need more time?
Can you make a motion?
No, I make a motion.
Oh, sure, that's just it.
I can't sign that, right?
It's a general description.
Oh, okay.
I make a motion to approve the job description of the EMA director.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. Further discussion? All in favor?
301.
Now, discuss fire, inland fire protection contract for 2026.
So I had
Can we keep
edited,
the discussion on the ones just at the table, please?
I had edited the contract from last year. I asked the fire chief and the deputy chief to review it. There were a few recommendations which I have included. One was in item number 4, if the fire department is toned out, it excludes calls for assistance by an emergency medical services unit. We wanted to make sure that that was clear, that we weren't providing EMA, so I made that change. And then the reimbursement rates, I had a certain rate for the first hour and then a lesser rate for each additional hour. And it was recommended that we just go with a set rate. So the charge for personnel is $30 per hour per person, a 1 hour minimum. The apparatus is $200 per hour per fire truck. And the UTV or boat are $100 per hour. And then I thought, this is a new paragraph, it's never been in any of the contracts, is should the town of Emden decide not to renew the mutual agreement, the town of Emden shall give the town of Anson 6 months advance written notice, or by October 1st of the current year of any termination action. So that way, for budgeting purposes, we'll know if they're planning to pull out.
We have a motion.
I make a motion to accept the agreement between the town of Newton and Indian Fire Protection as written.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? So moved, 4-0.
And then I'm gonna put the signature page on the top. You will sign on the left-hand side, and Emden will sign on the right.
Number 5, discuss financial matters with.
The first one is the warrants, to wrap up the 2025 warrants, we have actually numbers 133 through 139. We did do one more additional warrant today. So it should be 133 to 139 on the agenda. And then in 2026, it is warrants 1 through 4, not 1 through 3. So, warrant 133 was a payroll warrant, in the amount of $28,712.66. Warrant 34 was an AP warrant for $47,331.83. Warrant 135 was an accounts payable warrant for $242.09. Warrant 136 was an AP warrant for the town of $39,847.59. Warrant 137 was a sewer AP warrant for $4,560.68. Warrant 138 was another sewer AP warrant for $8,377.39. Warrant 139 was a AP warrant for $6,064.23. And in 2026, warrant number 1 was a payroll warrant for $11,730.84. Warrant 2 was a payroll warrant for $10,172.97. Warrant number 3 was an AP warrant, which is on the table today, for $437,309.35. And warrant number 4 is an AP warrant for $555.78.
Make a motion to sign the warrant.
I have a motion to sign the warrant.
Second.
There's a motion second for discussion. Can you tell me what the number was for warrant? No. AP 3, next to the last one.
The next to the last one. Warrant number 3, AP was $437,309.35.
Okay.
That's got the school payment on it.
Okay. We have a motion, we have a second, discussion, all in favor? All opposed? So moved 4-0. Year-end financial reports.
I gave you just some summary reports. I know you've seen a lot of the financial detail month by month, but the reports that I've given you tonight is an expense revenue summary. And the first report is for the general fund. It's fund number 10. In the general fund, it starts with revenues. General government, we took in $5,879,000 and some change. That is taxes, revenue sharing, Betty reimbursements, homestead, all of that, all of the excise taxes, interest from taxes, interest from investments, that, etc. KRDA is the revenue generated from First Park that we were talking about in the budget process. So in 2025, we actually received $9,134. Revenue received for public safety, that $70,000 number is mostly the ending revenues. And it did total a little more than the $65,000 in 2025 because it was in 25 that we asked for all the payments from April to December Whereas in the past, they would go from April to March, so we collected January, February, and March of the previous year contract, plus all of the 65,000 for the 25 contract, so it did actually come in at like $70,000. So that's what the public safety revenue is. The public works revenue is primarily with the LRAP money. There may have been a few not reimbursement checks, but checks that already might have gotten for repair work done that one outfit or another might have contributed, in which case we offset it by buying gravel or a few things. So Public Works had revenues of almost 85,000. Community programs had revenues of about 64,000. The transfer revenues is primarily the money that had come in for the fire truck, and there were a few other transfers. It was the December 22 storm of FEMA that had come in to the program, and then a small amount of rec revenues, $4,200. So revenues in the general fund was $6,220,395.11. Expenses for the year, in general government, we spent 85% of our budget, 100% of the county, 100% of first part, 100% of education. We were allowed to budget for overlay. There were some abatements, there were some supplementals out of the 34,000 in overlay. We only spent just under 12,000 of that, so 22,800 is going to, or has lapsed to surplus at the end of the year. But public safety budget was 91% spent, public works budget was 96% spent, community programs shows overspent, but in that is general assistance, that is the one account that was over and is allowed by law, so nothing alarming there. The charitable organizations were 100% spent. The cemetery budget was 79% spent. The recycling and waste budgets were 98% spent. Debt service was 100% spent. Capital purchases were made, transfers were done, and the rec program was 95% spent. In all, we had $6,014,651.06 in expenditures last year, and that generated a net profit of $205,000. That was revenues received in excess of expenses. So some of that can now be used to offset the increase in our 26 commitment when it comes time to do that. I'm hoping to have a level funded mill rate again this year, so we may need to use the overages that we saw in 25 to keep the taxes from going up in 26.
Good.
The next fund that I wanted to present to you, and a fund that you don't see very often, but one that is really going to need some attention down the road, probably sooner rather than later, and this is Fund 20, it's the sewer fund. In the sewer department, we took in $157,300, I'm rounding here. Sewer expenses for 2025 were $213,600. So the sewer department lost $56,000 expenditures over revenues. Thankfully, we did have a balance starting out the year, so we do have some cash to operate. We have not billed out our fourth quarter of '25 yet. That's usually billed in the month of January. I know Madison is currently working on it. But I think this year, we're gonna have to take a look at our sewer rates. I don't think they've been increased for probably 9 or 10 years now. And we'll also wanna maybe start thinking about the condition of the lines. And I don't know how old that system is. I think it's gotta be 30 years or so.
92, I think it was, when it went online.
Okay.
It's all PVC plastic.
Yeah,
The cement one goes from the fire station, well, actually Route 16 north, and we just flip lined different sections up through, and then last year we did the big section. So,
33 years.
uh,
33 years.
yep.
and unfortunately, we haven't really been saving in tucking money away for the rainy day fund and capital improvements. So I know in '25, the town funded that repair, and the town may need to fund more of it unless we do something. So I think we need to start by looking at our rates, maybe looking at the infrastructure, and then seeing where to go from here. And then the last summary report that I gave you is for Fund 26, and it's all the special revenue funds that the auditor has set up for us. It shows the FEMA payments that came in. I don't know why there's a negative. I think in the FEMA, the May Day storm, it's showing a negative. I think we wrapped up some work, but haven't, or that could be the amount that is due the town in the category Z management cost, which I think that's probably what that is. We did receive the snowmobile grant, and that did get paid out, that $25,000. We got the SEDC grant, the IT grant for $35,000 in revenue. And below, when we get to the expenses, you'll be able to see what has come out of that. In MMA grants, we got a total of $57.95. There was still some money in a COVID grant, so the auditor said, just get rid of it. We took care of that balance on the last AP warrant. I think we found a bill that was in the fire department, actually, that we charged off to this grant that we thought would pass the straight face test on the last warrant. And then, let's see, tax acquired, this is what we had in our tax acquired account per the auditor, $104,000, but we've used some of that with the parking lot up to the North Anson station, plus we had that lawsuit. So some of that came out of that. We received the volunteer firefighter grant. I can't remember the name of that, but that was like a $3,200 grant. And then we had that election grant that I used for the new flooring. There was some revenue from emergency management, revenue from planning board, and there is a fire equipment fundraising. I think I'd like to move that $280 in with the fire equipment reserve fund to get that out of there. I think that's just an old carry forward that's still been moved into special revenues. So then on the expense side, we wrapped up the FEMA December 22 storm. That was the one where they had paid us on work to be completed, and that was the, I'm probably gonna get it wrong, Is that the Madison Street project? That was the Madison Street project. So we got that wrapped up in '25. So you'll see the big expense there. We wrapped up the work in the December, well, we've done most of the work, I think, in the bridge storm.
Yeah.
But I think there's still some revenues that are gonna be left over that we can spend in '26 to get that off the books. There's that snowmobile grant that we saw coming in the revenues. We see it now going out, that's in 25,058. And then the SEDC grant, out of the 35,000, we've spent 27, so that gives us an extra 7,000 that we could use to, I could actually add that into the revenues to be offset in the commitment this year. We spent the full MMA grant. We got rid of that COVID grant. For tax acquired, out of the 104, we spent 63,248. And we spent all of the firefighter grant that we received, and we spent all of the election grant. So that is just a quick summary recap of our 3 funds for 2025.
Question. Nancy, on the you said the money for a tax acquired property was 104. We took 50 out of that, you said, to do the parking lot?
No, we only took 25,000.
To do the parking lot?
I thought so.
I thought the money that was saved on the fire department line was supposed to do was that for moving the wires? I think moving the wires
That, yes, I think you're right.
was that, not the parking lot.
Not the actual parking lot.
Right.
Right, yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
okay.
I think I'm
I was
crossing
thinking the
that.
figure
Yeah.
didn't quite sound right, and
Yeah.
I'm like,
No,
but that moving the wires, it makes
Moving the wire.
perfect, that's what I
That's
think.
what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, I'll just clarify.
Thank you for clarifying.
Okay? C, discuss going out to bid for a general obligation bond for road paving and reconstruction.
So, here is where we will want to have a discussion with Artie on the new road bond. He had provided you guys with a list of roads to go out to bond on, and he did them in the order of severity. So, let's see, we have Hilton Hill Road, Horseback, Preble Avenue as number 2. We have Pease Hill Road for number 3. Camp Grove Road is number 4. Madison Street, number 5, and then Ingalls, Pine, Summer, Frederick, which I don't know if we'll get down that far. The roads that he has presented to be repaired in a bond is 2.9 million, almost $3 million. So I'll need to know which roads and how much, well, yeah, preferably which roads and how much money you're willing to go out to bond for in the upcoming year, and for how many years you want to make bond payments. The bond bank will do as low as, well, as few as 5 years, but as many as 10.
Didn't we usually go out for like half of it, like 170 something?
The last time we went out to bond, Artie was authorized for 600,000, and we did a 5-year bond for 600,000.
The prices have gone up substantially.
Yes, and unfortunately, so we did $600,000 worth of work in 2020, and now here we are in 2026, and there's been, no paving in between our bonds, unfortunately. So it's not like every year we're chipping away at it, we're chipping away at paying off what we've already done.
Right.
Artie, I don't know if you wanna discuss.
Well, I got some
roads.
dates when these was paved last,
Yeah,
like the Hilton Hill Road. That was late 90s, early 2000s. Because when the plant was over here, and your father and Jerry hauled all the mix in one day with 2 trucks. And I talked to Bruce, and he thought it was either 98, 99, somewhere around that. So that's a 30, 25, 30 years, something like that. And there's been nothing done to that road other than we changed culverts. So that,
Is that Hilton?
Hilton Hill, when you go out 148,
Yeah.
take a quick right, yep. In Horseback, we did that one back from Whitetail Way back up to 234, and we paved that in 2015, and all we did was put a base coat on it. And the base coat's starting to go away, and we got 6 and 8 inch wheel ruts out there. So that's not gonna last much longer. And
Did that continue down Preble?
no,
Or stop?
we stopped at Whitetail Way,
Oh,
and then
okay. Yeah,
from
I missed
Whitetail Way, we did the section down to the railroad tracks, and that, I can't remember now what year that was, I got it someplace. But then, Preble Ave, all we did is put a shim on that, and that was the same year that we did it, 2015. We just put a shim down over Preble Ave, and we haven't done anything to that, and that needs to be done. The campground road, last year, Next Gen did from the power lines to 201A, and from the power lines back up through to Pool and Corner, actually to the telephone office. We did that 4 years ago, that section. But from Poolin's Corner all the way down to 234, that needs to be reclaimed, based and surfaced, because that road is starting to get some cracks in it that they're not cracks.
Crevices.
Yeah, and
You skipped over Peace Hill.
I got a complaint on Peace Hill today.
and Peace Hill,
They said there's grass growing up in the cracks of the road.
there was a section done,
I know.
what's that?
Oh, Peace Hill, I got a complaint. He says, I've lived here for 30 years and I don't know that they've ever done Peace Hill. And he says it's paved, but it doesn't look like pavement because there's grass growing up in the road now.
Yep.
But not now.
Yeah.
Peace Hill,
Is your number 3?
yep. That was done in 2016, we did 12,200 feet, roughly from 148 to Holloway. And from Holloway to the Fletcher Road needs to be reclaimed, surfaced, and paved. And the rest of the road needs to be shimmed and paved. So, yeah, these are big dollars, but it's been a long time since there's anything done. And from like Holloway up over through to Fletcher Road, why that there's got to get some good wheel ruts in it and what they call alligator fracking, where they go along parallel with the road and little dinky chunks.
So,
Yeah, I think it's pretty depressing too, actually. I agree with you.
I guess it just depends on how much money you wanna borrow. But the major roads that need to be done would be Hilton Hill, Horseback Campground, and Pease Hill. Those roads will need to have something done to them. And like, Madison Street, that needs to have something done to it.
So you're basically saying 1 through 5 really needs,
Yep.
5.
1 through 4.
But
so 1 through 4 is that,
those are the big roads, the
yeah,
ones that got the most length to them. that really
so
need to have
like
something.
Campground Road, is that 866,000? A total estimate to do that road, that you're looking to do? Or 11,000 feet?
No. No, because it's,
I wasn't sure, there was an 866.
well, that 866 is up above,
Yep,
and some reason it's down there too.
okay,
It's gotta
all
be a
right, so,
typo. Because it's, call it 370 and 125, 126, and 25. Those three numbers there is what it's gonna cost to take, do the,
Yeah, that'd be 520, 595, 520, 595.
I guess so, yeah.
so we have that for Campground Road,
Yep,
and then we have 866 for Pease Hill Road,
yep,
and then we have 655,000 for horseback
Horseback.
and treble? Or
Yeah.
horseback to treble,
no, Horseback and Preble,
and, okay,
and then 415 for
Yep.
Hilton Hill.
you adding those up, Daniel?
And his pen is going a gazillion miles an hour over here.
I think you rounded up the number 1 to 415 even by the looks.
So those 4 projects is 2.4 million.
And then Madison Street should be added on there because that's got a lot of ups and downs and cracks and crevices.
That's another 69.5. Add that. Now we're up to 2.5 million. 2.526.
Ouch.
Mhm. That would be a hefty bond payment if we did that over 5 years, but we've got to do something.
Well, see, in years past, like the first bond I put out was over $1 million,
Mhm.
and we only raised, was it 750,000 or something like that? So every year, what we put together for a bond package, we haven't filled. We've cut a little bit off. Well, every time we cut a little bit off, the following year, the prices are higher. So,
Yep. And the roads aren't getting any better
uh,
on their own, are they?
well, look at the traffic we're getting around here.
Yeah.
I used to grade Holloway and meet 2 or 3 cars. Now I have to do it in 3 sections. Because there's so many cars that pile up behind you, they won't go over the winter or gravel. And you do it in 3 sections, I do now.
Would there be any benefit to take one of these roads and reclaim it and turn it from a paved into a gravel?
No,
Hopefully,
no.
Okay,
I will not take a paved road and go back to a gravel road.
really, okay?
Nope, you're going behind at least 40 years.
Oh, okay,
You have trouble with that.
Yep,
yeah, yeah, okay.
that's, and with the amount of traffic that these roads are getting, and the pavement showing it, if you put it into a gravel road, you're never gonna hold it.
Okay.
What would be the payment for that?
If we did 2.5 million, and we did it for 5 years, just principal alone would be $505,000 a year, not including interest. That's huge.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, if you go a longer term, then you end up paying more interest over the.
And that's 10, that's
Yeah.
another 5 years before you can do
You
any
may,
more
you may
section
have,
of
you may
road.
have a lower payment, but your interest, you're already up paying more interest if you go a longer term.
That's true.
But your roads fall apart too.
Yeah.
You get less and less every year. How's it going?
How much traffic does Hilton Hill get, really? It's just the people that live in up there, isn't it?
Mhm.
Pretty much.
Yep.
Got a lot of complaints. It wasn't terrible when I went up through. Before we got all the snow and stuff.
Well, I'm used to living in the country.
That these, if we don't reclaim it, but I mean, it's got cracks that are 2 inches wide and they keep getting bigger. So you gotta do something, so it's either gonna have to be shimmed and surfaced the whole way, which that will last a year or so, and then your crack's gonna be right back. You could take and,
So what do you think the cost would be on that? Just a temporary patch for right now?
I'd have to do the, figure it, but the base and surface, let's see, it's 7,000 feet, so it's 336,000 just to do a base and surface. So if you just take the reclaim out, which is $23,000 to reclaim it.
But that 22,000 is good money well spent if you're gonna put brand new hot top on it.
It is, because if you don't reclaim it and get everything ground up and put back together, get rid of the cracks, then within a year, a couple of years' time,
Yeah.
the cracks are gonna be right back, so you're gonna be having new hot top with cracks like you got right now.
You'll be wasting your surface money, and that's where the big expense is.
I wouldn't even give it a year, honestly.
All depends on what kind of winter you get.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
A winter like this, we got frost heaves already. We don't usually have them so much.
So how many of these roads do you have to change culverts on?
I got, Hilton Hill, I got 2 culverts up there I gotta take and do. And I got a culvert on, Campground Road and Pease Hill Road. I've got 2 culverts on that road. What I gotta do. I've already ordered the culverts. I got those coming out of
So
my
that's
budget.
included in this? That's not-
That comes out of my
I mean, I
budget.
got 2 culverts going on the side of my driveway that's been there. Barely enough room for groundhogs to go through.
Yeah,
I know, because I've seen them.
they,
If we did a bond like this,
but I took and bought the culverts out of the highway budget. And so that expense is.
500,000 is probably
Yep.
I have to ask you, so you see it all the time.
$2.50 per thousand an hour.
Yeah, no, I did a bunch of ditching last year on Hilton Hill, and we still got more ditching to take and do, and,
Can we do 2 of the projects?
I don't know.
right? I mean,
I don't know if we can do that.
I don't think we can, not to bring the mill rate up to, that's crazy.
Good, so we're just discussing it anyways.
Okay.
How long do we have?
The application is due February 4th.
That's close.
So we don't have very long.
We still have it now. Yeah, that's the spring bond issue, so, I need to start working on, the application.
Well, I mean, we may not even be able to get all this money anyways.
Right,
right? I
right.
mean, we still have to wait
Right.
for that.
They need to know what our current debt is, and it's not just the debt payment. They wanna know, you know, what we
Right, sure.
owe.
Correct.
So I'll pull together the debt and get that to them, and then I can say, you know, this is tentatively our wish list, if you give me some direction, and, you know, we don't wanna spend any more than 1.5 million, or 2 million, or, you know, 2.5, whatever you decide, and, we'll have to just start playing, with, you know, the numbers game at that point. The bond bank did say, let me just pull that folder real quick, that when they went out in the fall, for bonding, their rate for a 10-year bond was 3.67%, and their rate for a 5-year bond was 3.360%. So it's a favorable interest rate, at 3%. I'd really like to try to keep it to the 5 years and not do a 10-year bond
So
myself.
5 years was the 3%?
Was 3.36%. And that was when they did their fall.
I mean, we might only get $1 million, correct? So we're gonna choose one of these projects or something, right?
They'll tell us what the cap is by state law. And then, you know, we'll have to decide what we feel that we can live with.
So when will you have that information?
Probably the end of the week, I'll know what the bond is and send that off, give them a couple of days to give me that cap. But we're considering the first 5 roads. Correct? Or at least the first 4.
And then we might end up, out of those 4, which one's worse? So, I guess.
Well, they're
Well, there's some big price tags there.
need. They're in list of need. They're in need.
Oh, crap.
Need. That's salt and hay for such things. But it's hard to do when you're paying on.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, I know it sounds partial, but the horseback road is the emergency route. So it needs to be kept reasonable no matter what. You want me to abstain in that vote, I will.
Well, there'd be 3 of us.
Well,
There'd be 3 of us.
so Sharon, you decide.
You're gonna decide.
The horseback,
We're pretty sure it's not gonna be Hilton Head.
the horseback road is the one that really needs it the worst, just because it's only got a base coat on there. It never got the service put on in the second road bond, because we had other roads that was worse.
Okay.
And we have a lot of tractor trailers running,
Mm-hmm.
all times of the year,
I don't wanna
and
know.
whether it's posted or not, so.
So about 650,000 or 655 for horseback, that's gonna make the cut.
That's a big project.
And the Madison Street, that's where the flood was and.
Yeah, it's the one that goes right down by the post office, on
Right.
Church Street.
Well, let's see what-
For $1 million. I know, what do you think?
It would be 200,000 a year.
For 5 years?
And that's before you take interest into consideration.
For $1 million,
Oh,
for 5 years. And that would bring our mill rate up anyway, still, doing it.
We're currently paying 120,000, so your payment would go from 120 to 200 or 220, because that's just
Right.
principal. So it would bring it up a $500,000. But it would be nice to do more than just one road too.
We have one more meeting, right, before,
We do, yeah.
so let's get the information we need.
Okay. All right.
See
All right.
what we can do.
Maybe in the, meantime, we can take a look at the sections of road and these are just really rough estimates too, right, Artie?
Just budget figures, that's all.
Okay.
When they come, the contractors come and look at them, it could change drastically.
Mhm.
Up or down, it's not. Mostly we have. We just fill
I ain't gonna say, don't know, but
Yeah,
usually nothing really
it's
cheap.
tiring going down the road.
No.
You should turn them down.
You set? Number 6, department heads. Road commissioner. You're up.
Hey, from worst to worst, the, pump station 1 went down, one of the pumps did, in the big rainstorm we had. As I was calling the crew in, that we had to go start sanding and plowing, the tones went out, that one of the pumps went down. So we went and shut that pump off and run on one pump. I got a hold of Stevens, so they come back up and cleaned it out. And the seals and whatnot was bad in it, so they took that pump down and rebuilt it. And they just got that one back, we did yesterday. And then the material usage from that storm until the end of December, why, we're up to, right now, we're up to just over half of what we used last year. For the whole year.
Wow.
Yeah, the one rainstorm, we used 3 trailer truckloads of salt with hot loads on the road and mixing sand, just so I could keep them to what we took in hand. And we didn't go overboard. I was out today with the grader, and I was out 2 days last week with the grader cutting ice, so I could get it down to the pavement. But you can get to the top of the wheel ruts, but you can't get to the bottom. So I've been putting salt. Once I went out with the grader, I'd take a load of salt and I'd go and put it in the cold spots and whatnot to get the wheel ruts so they'll start working, so the traffic can splash it up out, because there's no way for us to scrape it to get it up. And I got all the out-of-town roads so that they're passable and I'm comfortable with them. There's not big places, there's a lot of ice and stuff. And tomorrow I'm gonna start on the in-town streets down here. And then I'm gonna go from here to North Anson. And then I gotta do a spot on the Horseback Road and a couple spots on the Campground Road. And then we'll have to take and put some more salt out once I get that done, so I can get the ice that's in the wheel tracks to break up.
And then it starts again on Thursday.
Starts tonight after 9 o'clock, snow showers and possible rain.
Yeah. So
So,
winter started in a month ago.
Wow.
What we're used to, I mean, then, past 4 or 5.
it's just the temperatures, we haven't had negative temperatures like this
Yeah.
for a long time.
This early.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, in the morning when it's 15, 20 below zero and you gotta go up and sand the roads, why,
Doesn't really.
no. We was coming in at 2 o'clock in the morning, get the sand out there so the slow traffic would help grind it in a little bit before the trailer trucks and heavy trucks started rolling, so. But, we had the truck go down, then big rainstorm, took and blow the main hydraulic hose on it. We got that fixed, then this last weekend, blowed another hose and got that fixed. And then the sander wouldn't, bed chain and the spinner wouldn't shut off, it run steady. So we had to have Allied come over and work on the hydraulics on that. And he wasn't able to fix it yesterday, so we ended up taking it over that day, and the guy was over there with it until he got back to the shop about 1:30, 2 o'clock. And they ended up having to put a new valve out on the, well, they didn't have a new one, they had a used one, out on the pump itself that tells the pilot pump what the pressure is, so it tells the valves when they're supposed to open and that stuff. So it's working like it should now somewhat, but we got a new valve coming for that. right now, all the equipment's up and going, so. Other than that, I got nothing.
Winter money.
Yep. Gotta love it.
Any questions? Chief?
Northeast came up today, up to the North Station and finished working on engine 83. It had a discharge valve that was messed up in it, and one of the handles that run, one of the discharge lines broke, and that part was backordered, so they were finally up today and got that replaced, so that's all back online. Engine 82 has finally been serviced with its oil change and all that. That's all good to go. That finishes up all the services on the trucks. Northeast was up on the 12/29 of last year and serviced our compressor that fills our SCBA bottles and stuff and all that good stuff. And I had a gauge that failed on that, so they replaced the gauge on that. That was around $852 for that bill. Matt and Jeremy was up there last Friday, I believe, because Daryl had mentioned a couple meetings ago that the heat wasn't really working up there. So they had to tie in to get internet hooked up to the box that gets into our heating system because it's a program. And they finally got into that. I was talking to Jeremy today, they didn't really mess with anything, but when he met Northeast there today, miraculously we had heat. So, I don't know. Mechanical Services is supposed to get in touch with me, I believe, in the next couple of days. His name's Brian Cobb, and see if he can get in there and see what's actually going on. And I talked to Christian Miller as well. He's one of our firefighters that works for a heating company, and his boss knows a lot about that program that we have. So hopefully we can get into it and see what's actually going on with it. SCBA flow test for all our air packs and stuff is scheduled for February 2nd. That's usually a half a day event. It's when they go through and they check all our SCBAs, make sure everything's up to par, all the systems are working in it and our alarms. I talked to Lance Arsenault today. A lot of the generator stuff is starting to come in. And while I had him on the phone, I asked him if he could wire up our compressor up there that supplies air to the trucks, because whenever it rains or a certain amount of water comes off, the wind blows the water off in the eaves onto the electrical outlets on the outside of the wall. For some reason, we're getting moisture again. So it trips that whole line that the air compressor is plugged into. So I asked him just to run some conduit from the utility room with an outlet to the compressor itself, so hopefully we can eliminate that happening. He said he'd try to get onto it as quick as he can. He's pretty busy. Andy did a check on our generator down here at the south. Keeps throwing a low coolant alarm. So I had Lance on the phone. I asked who he had usually that works on the generators. He's going to give me their contact number, because I've asked Ben King and Sons 2 or 3 times when we've had this happen, and it still constantly happens. So I'm going to try another entity to see if they can get into it and see what's going on with that. Talked to Jeremy the other day. We had a gentleman stop at the fire department. Him and I know him. His name is Joe Pooler, and he used to work for Maine Fire Equipment that did fire extinguishers, and he has gone out on his own, started his own business here in the area, and presented us with a card. I want to know if we could kind of give him a shot at servicing our fire extinguishers. And I believe Nancy, you talked to Jeremy earlier about it.
I did.
Encore does our fire extinguishers, and they're either out of Bangor, New Hampshire. They got quite a few facilities, and we usually get charged mileage, hourly rates, and I had to have a fire extinguisher that needed to be recharged here a month or so ago, and I asked them if they could come by and do it, and they're like, well, gee, we don't know when the next time we're going to be in the area. Could be 2 or 3 months, could be who knows when. And I'm like, well, fire department, we kind of need a fire extinguisher done up so we can put it back in service. And they're like, yeah, well, we're not really sure when we're gonna be in the area again, but if we happen to be by, we'll swing in and do it. And I know the bill I got from last year when they were all done, it's anywhere to $4,000 to $5,000. And looking at Joel's prices, it's almost half in everything. So I wanted to mention it, Nancy, because I know we have fire extinguishers here at the town garage, and I just think we could save quite a bit of money if we go with a local person, so.
Ours don't cost nowhere near that much, I do the pump stations, town office, and the highway garage,
Yeah, so,
a lot of them.
but I'm gonna see what, he's gonna give us some more prices and go from there. I know in February or March, we're due to have them all done, so if I can save money on that aspect and use somebody local, I'll probably use somebody local than going with Encore.
You check some references.
What's that?
Check some references.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
I kind of figured.
Otherwise than that, forestry unit down here at this station here is due for an inspection sticker. I'm gonna make an appointment for that. And Jeremy wanted me to mention to you guys, we'd like to purchase the Adobe program. I know Nancy, we talked about it when we were doing work on our budget. But we have to use a credit card to purchase it, so I don't know if we can have the board's approval to use the credit card to purchase that program so we can have it on our computers.
Not just a program.
Maddie says what, around $600 or $700 or something like that. We thought maybe where the town had it, we could like use it in all the computers, but it doesn't work like that anymore. When you have that little code that you can put in your computer, so it's an individual entity that can use it, so.
They need it.
And to the heat in the north, the furnace runs 24 hours a day.
Yep, and if sometimes when it's not the circulators that I'm even running, right?
Just that back wall, that's it. They just sit there, it just sits there and runs. It's always 88.9 degrees in the furnace room. And we've come to the conclusion that if we open the door, we can have a warm fire station. So we just open the door. Because I haven't seen, I go over the thermal and check the floor regularly. I have not seen the floor heat working all winter. At
And
all.
Christian seems, and he works with it more than I do, so I kind of listen to him quite a bit. I think it has to do with, he says that the program is probably switched to a certain function which needs to be switched, and that there's a temperature probe. So it probably isn't where it's supposed to be to regulate the heat to where it needs to be, so.
I get that, but my point is, it's just not working. We paid for
Yeah.
radiant heat, that should heat that building. And the furnace running 24 hours a day is gonna
Yeah.
burn itself out. And burn a ton of propane. We need to really do something.
So the furnace was installed by the,
I have no idea. This mechanical.
There were so many subcontractors, we'd have to go on the little fob of all the information they gave us, but most of it was done, Mechanical Services was in charge of it, and they contracted out to other people to put stuff in,
there must be a guarantee on that furnace,
not after a year.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
just a year.
From the,
Yeah.
Well, we let them know before the year was up
We-
that you're having issues with it,
Oh,
so
we bitching and
shouldn't they
complaining.
still be fixing it
I would,
or go good for it?
I would think, so.
they need to be priority delivered.
So if you got proof of contact of them coming to fix it, I would think that it would still be under warranty because it's an original problem which they have not fixed. So if they've been coming to
I mean, I'll
work on it.
talk to well, Jason Cook is the one that was my contact person, but Brian Cobb is the gentleman that knows the program and has been through this whole thing since the get-go, so when he calls me, I'll try to nail him down to see what else can be done, because it's been an ongoing problem even before we was in the fire station, so.
Right, no, we gotta get it fixed, no matter what. The cost is, but we gotta get it fixed.
Will end up costing us in the end with the
Correct, I mean, with the
Fuel.
fuel that's being burnt right now, and
It's funny because I know we had it shut off for how many months when they moved the propane tank and stuff. And when Richard first fired it up, he says, yep, because they went there the next day for the fire prevention thing, and I guess they were in there cleaning, and it was so hot in there that Danny said they had to open the doors up. Ran great for a little while, but it's like it gets to a certain temperature and it just stops circulating in the floor, and the furnace just runs constantly, so.
definitely a problem.
Well, Jeremy found out while he was in the program Monday night that the auxiliary heaters haven't even been on.
Yeah. That was the other thing I mentioned.
Because we tried one night to open the doors to make them come on. We even sucked all the heat out of the furnace room, got it down to 55 degrees, still can't get the floor to circulate. So, but it's working fine, they said.
So it could get told every time.
Yeah, and I'm not a furnace guy, but I know when heat's working when it ain't.
So you're gonna call that guy?
Brian Cobb, yeah, and I'm gonna talk to Christian because Christian's boss knows that program pretty well that we have in there. Christian would like to have him kind of look at it too, to see if he could try to troubleshoot something that somebody's totally missing, so.
keep at it. That it?
That is it for me.
Questions?
I don't have anything to say. No,
We've had nothing going on, so.
No, it's been very nice.
Nancy?
Questions for you though.
Oh, good. There you go.
On the emergency shelter, I can't submit it to the school, without that
Yes.
page that I gave Stacy, which is the list of personnel to call.
correct.
So, once I get that, Appendix B, then I've got the proof of insurance from MMA. So I've got everything that they need, I just need that list completed. Yep, okay. So if you could, get me that. Okay, that's great. So, let's see, for me, we have our 2024 audit. It's been finalized, there's, I've got the final, I've asked Maddie to put it on the website under the treasurer's page. I did send it off to the bond bank. They need that for the existing loan that we have with them. And they'll also need it when we go out for bond this spring. I thought the audit was fairly good. The overages, they have a note 9 overspent appropriations. Public safety was $100,574. Health and welfare was another $38,646 for a total of $139,220. With that, I went further. That was on page 40 of the audit. And then, so I went to page 53, which is Schedule 1, which is comparing the budget to actual in the general fund. And it looks like on the budgeted revenues, we overstated the revenue sharing when we had done the commitment for 2024. 564,000 of revenue sharing was used, and revenue sharing only came in at 480, so we were $84,000 low there. We overstated property taxes by 92,000. We overstated overstated homestead reimbursement. So those were the overstatements on the revenue. And then the outflows to public safety was that 100,000, and then under health and welfare, 38,646. I think that was in the solid waste and recycling budget. I think they categorized that under health and welfare. And then at the bottom, the utilization of undesignated fund balance, we utilized 200,000 more than we should have because of that FEMA boo-boo on that commitment. So, all in all, though, you know, there was no surprises. It was, you know, basically kind of where I thought it would be. So I think there is room for improvement in our financial management, but all in all, it was a fairly decent audit. There is a caucus coming up, of which, Jim, you are looking to be on the budget committee for Somerset County.
I pulled my name from that.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay.
I let him know.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, anyone that wishes to any board member that wishes to vote can go to the caucus on January 26th. Is that, actually what, I didn't really read this. This email that had come. Anyway, Monday, January 26th, 6:30 p.m. at the Old Point School in Madison.
6:30.
I've already talked about the EMA shelter agreement. We had done 3 interviews for the customer service specialist position. We made an offer, and the offer was declined. So we're back to square one yet again. And I have been looking for some vacation destinations, usually in March after town meeting. I like to go south, Georgia, Florida-ish, and I drive. My family won't fly. So before I actually book it, I don't know if I need to do a vacation request form for you guys to sign, but I'm thinking somewhere around March 11th, we'll get through town meeting. We have a board meeting that following Tuesday, maybe after that, heading out, and then coming back the end of March, something like that.
As long as you come back.
Once I know, but am I okay to, you know, within kind of those parameters to schedule a vacation?
Sure.
All right, thank you. And, that's all I have.
Questions? Selectmen concern. Not my problem.
Well, it's been a long meeting, it's been 3 hours.
Public session.
I got a couple things. The plow contract for the North Village, who oversees or makes sure that this stuff gets done?
Me. I called him today, come up and sand it, and he did. I called him last week, and every time Stacy called me and said the parking lot was slippery, he came and done it. And that, when it was so cold, I told him, anything below 15 degrees, don't put salt up, put salt and sand up. I said, save the money.
The other question, how does the contract read for sidewalks? Is it just for school?
What do you mean, just for school?
They only do it for school. They don't do it for church. They don't do it for anything else.
I'd have to take a look at it, Darryl, but it's, if there's more than 4 inches, he's supposed to do it, and then when the storm's done, it's supposed to be done.
Yeah.
I think that's how it reads, but I'd have to look at it to be exact.
And just, I've got plenty of pictures that show that the park and ride is a bottle. The town parking lot doesn't get sanded ever. Doesn't pay to put straight salt on gravel, as you know.
Mhm.
It's just a whole bunch of things. I've got people that come to me, they don't have the guts to come here and talk on TV or talk to you or the town.
Well, the only one complaint that I got all went along was yesterday. And I called her back and talked to her and explained it out to her.
They won't call.
And the week of school vacation, I got 2 calls and was told that they was satisfied with the sidewalks because it's doing a really good job.
They have been doing an okay job with taking care of the sidewalks, but there's more than the sidewalks. And when the store, I mean, when people have to walk down the road because you can't stand up on the sidewalk, I think they need to put a little sand on them, but that's just.
What did I just say? I told him that anything below 15 degrees, do not use salt. Use salted sand. And that was after I got the call that the fire department parking lot was slippery up there, because I got a call that it was slippery, and he went and put salt out like he has been doing so he could get it bared off. And I said, no, don't use salt anymore. Go ahead and use salted sand. And I go up and check the sidewalks in the morning, and I check them in the afternoon. And it's like yesterday, the salt was starting to work, everything was starting to get slushy, but then where it was real thin, it was glazing. So I called and asked him to come put some salted sand on it.
I got pictures, they ain't no, I watched them go up through last night, and they sanded.
Mhm.
I get that. But they went 24 hours, the kids had to walk to and from school on a bottle. Because they did run over, and they filled the driveways full of snow as well. I got pictures of all that too. Because I know pictures is what it's gonna take to prove that it isn't being done.
Well, all I go on is the phone calls that I get for complaints and stuff like that, and
Why isn't it being monitored by somebody other than the citizens?
And when the plow comes down.
I don't mean to be, I'm just asking because I don't know. Because it seems like it shouldn't be the citizens monitoring road conditions, sidewalk conditions, parking lot conditions. If there's a contract and it's always been done before, why is it up to the citizens to complain?
like I said, I go up in the morning, I go up in the afternoon, and just like this afternoon, I went up to there and I called him and said, would you put some sand and salt on the mixed sand and salt on the sidewalks, please? And
Did
he
you
went
go
up.
up through Monday morning?
Oh, yeah, because he did those sidewalks early that morning, it's done before 5 o'clock.
He did them late Sunday night, and you didn't see all the snow in the driveways? We had the school all done, there was this much snow across the entrance, and then it froze. And who gets crabbed at? I do, I plow the schools.
I told him not to put snow in the entrances if they're all cleaned up, so.
I get that, it's just like the plow in the church parking lot. That never stopped, we stopped it, we had to talk to them.
Yeah, I did, I called and told him, when you called me, I called
And
him.
I don't know if
I
they told you yet, but they told me they broke the curbing in the church parking lot.
They did?
Yeah, that came from the plow driver, or the guy that runs the snow blower told me that.
No, they haven't said anything to me, I'll go ask them though tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, they told us that, and I didn't know. He volunteered it, not me.
Yeah. No, I'll ask them tomorrow.
I'll show you some pictures after the meeting, and you tell me what you think.
Yeah.
You drive by the park and ride too every morning?
Nope, I don't go by the parking lot.
Okay.
Because in years past, that's been icy and slippery too, so. He asked me if I wanted to sanded it, and I said, yes, I do. I says, because now they start using snowmobile trail, I says, it needs to be sanded.
But we'll see if it changes. Because I'm there all day long, I get to see it
Well, see, I have to take care of the roads down on this end, so I can't be just right there. But I check it, like I said, I check it in the morning, I check it in the afternoon. And if I get a call during the day, then I'll go check it then too. But when I'm out in the grader, it's hard to be sitting up there.
I'm not denying that, but the way it used to be, it was taken care of. Now, an outside contractor has it, and he goes in there once, and he leaves. He doesn't monitor what happens during the day. Just putting that out there.
Yep. One thought is to have, I realize it's a scary thing to call the town, it's a scary thing to call the party sometimes, but sometimes that's what we need, so that we can get numbers of people that are complaining. You know, I don't doubt what you're saying, I don't doubt it at all, but to have people, other people come and tell us, well, this is what's going on. Have the little old lady give us a call, say that this is what's going on, or whoever, I mean, you know, really, seriously, because then we start to get an idea of where this stuff is happening. I know last year there was some issues. I drove down through Park to North Anson and saw sidewalks completely snowed in, and Arnold told me the same thing that night. So, for whatever reason, I don't know, but we need to hear more of it from individuals too, so encourage them.
I will.
Whether it's the office or whether it's I encourage them.
Where are they supposed to be directed to call? Probably the office.
Either the office or they can call me. If they call the office is gonna give them my number to call me.
You know, my thought's always been the same thing, paper trails and pictures, I love pictures, as you already know, because I've said it 1,000 times. And that's what we need to see, and that's, you know, so that when we go back to them, it's, listen, this is what we got. You say you went up to it this time, you know, the picture says this was not done at this time, so, you know how it works. So, yep, so, awesome. So get to see the pictures and just, because we do pay a lot to have this done, and we need it done right, there's no doubt. There's no doubt.
They were doing a good job on the sidewalks, I'm not gonna lie.
Well, I know before we got this real cold snap, the sidewalks was bearing off. I mean, shortly after the storm, it'd be bare pavement.
They
But
were,
even my sidewalks down here, I still got ice on them. And I've run straight salt, and then I put salted sand on them, and I've done it twice since the storm was done, and still haven't got it melted off yet. But
I totally get it. The snow, you can't make the ice go away, and I understand that, but at least you should be able to see signs of where somebody has been there with some sand.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. Number 9.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion, seconded. All in favor?
Aye.